Three words to describe Edwin is an absolute beast.
What a play! Ipape goes through! What a try!
He has the ability to break lines apart.
He's absolutely electric.
What aren't his strengths? He's a beast.
He's a big hitter.
The way he just explodes into that contact, I don't think your ribs can handle that for too long.
This guy's got everything.
Quite cheeky as well, that smile when he's up to something.
Just a clap.
He just looks smaller on the field. He looks like he's easy to run to, and I watch a lot of people run into him and they don't look like they're run at him again.
I was born in Western Highlands. I'm originally from Hela province, which is further in the highlands of Papua New Guinea. But I was born and raised in Mount Hagen General Hospital in Western Highlands, and that's where I grew up in Warakum. We had a lot of relatives in our homes, like every day. So I had heaps of siblings where, I can play around and roam around with, kicking balls everywhere, But it was more like touch footy. When we didn't have any balls, we used to put grass or some stuff in containers, like Coke bottles and whatnot, and we kick it and use it as rugby league ball to play touch around whenever we get any chance. So we'd have 15, 16, plates served every day. My mom did a really hard job there to feed all of us and to keep us happy. So yeah, there was a lot of boys, and we were 14, 15, siblings in the family, which is pretty big. As a young kid growing up, I always knew that I was meant to play footy, because I always had a footy in my hand every time. Coming back from school, I just throw my school bags away, grab a footy, go play touch with the boys, and I was always I knew that I was going to play, so it was just about time that was going to tell where I was going to head to. And I think when I was 18, 19 coming up, I knew that I can make something out of it.
He comes from the highlands, same as our culture up in the mountains. And one of the games I watched, he was playing, I think, against Great Britain or something. He came on the bench and he made a break and went through, and I'm like, oh, is that? That was a couple of years ago.
Here we go. Oh, this is good.
Out of dummy half.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic from Ipape. Edwin Ipape showing a clean pair of heels and bringing this stadium onto its feet.
The whole country bubbles with the sport. They're massive around a TV. There's thousands of people watching the TV of the NRL or the Super League when it's on the weekends.
It's life, really. Whenever rugby league's on in PNG, or whenever the PNG teams are playing, whether it's the Hunters or the Kummels, the support that you get from everyone. It gives you goosebumps. I get goosebumps when I think about it.
I tell a lot of people it's hard to explain to someone that hasn't been there what it's like until you go there and you see the people and you see the kids and you see mums and dads and aunties and uncles that just love it. It's from all ages.
I never missed a game when PNG played. I've never, and I can remember all the games clearly from the start to the finish. Glen he's a legend, he was one of our pioneers from PNG, to come out from local competition back in PNG and to come out here and to be a hero, an icon.
And he has found Stanley Jean, and Stanley Jean gets away from Wild and scores a brilliant individual try.
I look at him in a way, I look at myself, at the time I came over, I didn't have much weight, I was about 72K, 73K, so, and for him in the mountains to come over, the good thing about him coming over, which I was satisfied with, that Edwin Lem was there, and they look on me and Edwin, who played for the Kummels before, so I think what does him well as well is that Edwin is there and he knows the cultures, the systems that we came through, and he knows he'll be missing homes. The word village, when I landed at school, is the village that I get in the sense of you got to admire the heart, and you got water, you get it from the creek, and fire right in the middle, firewood that you cook from, no light, no power. That's village to me, till I got there to England and they said, oh, you're gonna live in a little village in Ben Pichi, which is just across East Hall, a little village, and there's church, there's shops, there's pubs. You got a fridge in the house, a microwave, you got a couch, you got a TV that watches many channels, movie channels, and yeah, the same word, different meaning to village.
I was born in Papua New Guinea myself a long time ago, and knowing the places and people there, I've always kept an eye on the local domestic competition, and Edwin's come through the Leigh Snacks Tigers, they're called, which are one of the Digital Cup teams in the NRL in Papua New Guinea. So as a young teenager coming through there, I've watched him, I followed him and tracked him, and last year when I was given the Leigh Centurions job at the time we were looking for players, and I knew that we needed a 9 that could certainly help us dominate a competition or win a competition at the time, and Edwin was the first person that came to mind. So one of my first things I wanted to do was to track him down and find out where he was, and then give him the opportunity to come over here and play in the championship. Edwin was living in the highlands of Papua New Guinea, an area way out of the way, a lot of countryside about it, no big buildings, and just in a really quiet area, and made contact with him and his manager, and gave him the opportunity to come over to join the Leigh team with me, and he snapped it up with open arms. And the journey that he's come through there to go home, but then to come back over into the UK was amazing. And the story last year of him being here and playing was incredible itself, let alone what he then went on to do during the season.
Oh my goodness. And Pepe picks up a kick up now. It's a foot race for the big man. Down the touchline he's going to go. He's going to go 60 metres and he's got a score in the corner.
When I first got the call to come over here, I really didn't know what to expect. But my mindset was just to come out here and experience what it's like to play here in the rain and cold and whatever. But I was more so grateful for the opportunity because I had nothing. So that was it, like I came with the mind to just be grateful for the opportunity here and try to find out, what or how good I can be, and that's been my mindset when I first got here.
I remember when he first came, he was doing a lot of reading of the Bible, to be honest with you, and making sure that his life was calm and settled in that way, and he felt that he needed to do that to help him improve as a player and develop as a player, and obviously with that opportunity as well. And it got him in a position where he had clarity in his life and in his rugby league, and I think that helped him get to where he needed to quickly.
I crack up all the time when you put that emoji, the thumbs up in the group.
That's what it is.
Why do you have to do this all the time?
For me, the toughest thing is getting to a different country. It's a different culture altogether. It's a different language. The language, I'm still learning English now, and you'll see me there, I joke and laugh with the players. Sometimes some of them are new to me and they wouldn't understand the way I speak. The same as others said, it'll take time for you to know them to know me. Edwin plays at hooker, so everything starts from the hooker itself. He's got to know all the calls and all the moves, and like I was doing. And for me, I learned very quickly because I got no other choice to speak my language but speak English. And that's one thing I, put myself up there as the biggest test, is playing a position that you lead the team around the field.
Nice, Joey, good carry. Oi, face ball. Oi, face ball.
And knowing that language and then knowing others to respect you and hear you, and sometimes the communication couldn't go through. There's a lot of difficulties, but when you can do that, you surpass the main task of getting across and play rugby.
Slow it up. Easy. Here, need one here. Take a step.
I really don't mind the weather, to be honest. I don't really like it when it's raining and windy, but it was kind of cool to see the snow. I came out and I told the boys, how good is this? And then they said, oh, it's freezing. I said, nah, it looks good. It's freezing, but it looks good. So long as it's not raining, then I'm happy. So obviously with my family back in PNG last year, it was tough. I had some times where, I really wanted to go back home, but the situation didn't allow me, so I had to stay here and, it's been very tough because I've missed out on a lot of things, you know, like birthdays and stuff. It was tough, but I used to call them, you know, back home, and I didn't see both of them in the hospital when they were first, you know, born. So that was really tough. But I guess I couldn't do anything about it because I was away. So yeah, I think I gotta give a big shout out to Nene and all the boys in the team have been, you know, really, they stood up for me and they gave me the support that I need. And even Lemmy, he used to message me and check how I was going, or he'd come grab me for dinner. We'd go for coffee and have a chat about things. And I think that's what kept me going last year. And you know, it kept me really grounded and not to worry more about, you know, people back home.
He talked to me a fair bit about that. He really got very homesick at times, and we were trying to work with going back, getting him back home to just spend a few weeks away from footy and be with his partner and be with his son and that. And yeah, at times it was hard, and I think those were the times where I was trying to come over and pick him up and say, come over for a barbecue or dinner, just to get your mind off it instead of being in an apartment by yourself, and really take your mind off it. And I think playing well as well takes your mind off it when you're being a star player in the team. But it's difficult when you're away from family for anyone, especially your son and your wife's pregnant and missing out on all those things. And I think he done well to push through all that, and we had a successful year, and he had a great year and topped it off with the World Cup, and then he finally got to go home. So I think it was a very special year for him, and he dedicated himself, which it paid off for him.
Edwin Ipape!
I really didn't. I really never thought about everything that happened last year. Now that you've brought up, I'm kind of, you know, it's sinking in. Like, I've had a very, I'd say a very nice, outstanding year for myself in my career. Last year was the best year I've ever had. And my family was very proud that, you know, I've achieved some great highs when, you know, sacrificing my time being away from them. But they were happy that I was doing well and I was achieving some things that I've always dreamt of. I've realized that all the sacrifices that I've made, you know, I've paid the price, and I'm just so happy and so excited to bring them across here and, you know, let them experience what it's like to live outside of Papua New Guinea and, you know, have a life here. You know, I want to put my kids through school here and, you know, give them a good future over here. So that's the plan. So I don't know what it's gonna be like in the future, but I'll just hope for the best.
What a runner he is, the hooker. The number 9 back to Lem. Edwin. Should we call him Sir Edwin?
I think playing with him, the game changes. You know, last year he's coming off the bench, so the game starts real static and just grindy, and then he comes on and the tempo of the game sort of picks up. So that was something I had to adjust to, because, you know, you blink and you miss the moment with him, kind of thing. He sees everything very clearly from dummy half, and when he picks it up and runs, he's explosive and powerful, and if you're not on the same page as he's on, he'll leave you behind. So it's something you've got to get onto pretty quickly.
The fame's come onto him really quickly, and whether he's handled that well or not, we'll see in the immediate future. But I think, you know, personally myself, I've been around rugby league for a long time, and, you know, I know he's had a lot of acknowledgement as a great player, and, you know, he needs to keep his feet grounded, because that's what got him in this position in the first place, and he has got a lot of hard work still to do. He knows that, and he's just got to make sure that he stays humble throughout this process. He will have the ability to take that next step up in the Super League. Like I said, it's always difficult that first 12 months, but he needs to get the feel of the speed of the game. He needs to start for us instead of coming off the bench, which he'll get an opportunity to do this year. You know, people will probably doubt his ability, which is the other side we can look at, and through that inspire him to be the player that we need him to be.
Yeah, I think if you put the right players around him and the right support, he can accomplish anything. He's strong, fast, everything you need in a hooker. He's someone you don't want to run at. He's got all the attributes, and he just needs the people around him to be supportive of what his role is, and the sky's the limit with him.
You know, he could be one of the best players ever to play for in this competition, even one of the best players ever to play for Papua New Guinea. And that's all up to him. He's got it there. He just needs to enjoy and play footy, and I really hope he does everything and kills it this year, because he's a player that really deserves it.